Thank you. I want to first of all thank the Action Drug and Rehab facility for hosting this event. I also want to thank the media for covering this. Think of this as a an old school public service announcement on steroids. Okay, this is our opportunity as elected officials, as law enforcement, as city council members, and as parents to put a bright, shiny light on this problem that we hear talked about a lot, but I don't think anyone really understands it. I don't think anyone really understands the magnitude of the problem, and I don't believe they understand the severity of the problem. And so the goal of today is literally to save someone's life, and if we all do our jobs correctly in the wake of this, it's to save hundreds of kids' lives. And I use that term kids. It's not just affecting kids, it's affecting adults. But it's really hitting home to our nation's youth right now, and especially here in Santa Clarita. I represent the 25th Congressional District, which is Santa Clarita, the Antelope Valley, Simi Valley, Porter Ranch, and here in Santa Clarita Valley, we're seeing a trend that's very dangerous that Sheriff Villanueva will talk about. But just this year alone, we've had 21 folks succumb to this poisoning. These are deaths and the poisoning of our kids. There's a very important nuance here, and it's very important to recognize that these aren't overdoses. These aren't pills that the kids are thinking that they're taking. They're doing something that is usually online through special apps and very readily available apps where they can order Xanax, Adderall, whatever they think they're ordering, but they're not prescription drugs. They are actually just fentanyl. They're not laced with fentanyl. They are made with fentanyl. And this is very important. I've met with several of the families who have lost their kids, their 13-year-old daughter, their 16-year-old daughter in my office. And as a father, I'm especially, frankly, scared of this problem because this is something that as a parent, you feel powerless to because we're not with them all day long. They're in their phones more than they are not in their phones right now, and it's hard to control what they're seeing and hard to control what they're doing. But as a father of a 15-year-old, it scares me to death that my son can go online, potentially order something, have it delivered to his house, and have it be something that is literally meant to kill us. And so this is avoidable. This is something that if parents take the time to educate their kids on what's going on out there, to ask the tough questions, to have those tough conversations, we can prevent this. And if we just focus on making sure that our kids and the younger generations understand this problem and that it's resident literally in every pill. It's like the metaphor that I was taught a couple years ago about this problem is it's like a batch of cookie dough. And as much as you mix it up, there's always that clump at the bottom of cookie dough that doesn't get mixed all the way. And it's the same thing when they're building these pills. With fentanyl, they think they're doing it correctly, but there's always that one residue at the bottom of the batch that is overdosing effectively from what they're supposed to do or what they're trying to do, and it ends up becoming very poisonous and very lethal, and that's why we see these deaths. And so parents need to pay attention. We also need the county to prosecute this. I've been pushing at the federal level for, I'm a co-sponsor of a bill that's called HALT. It's an acronym which stands for Halt All Legal Trafficking, and it's specifically tailored to fentanyl to have it scheduled as a Schedule 1 illegal narcotic, and because right now it's not. That's very dangerous. It's unbelievable that it's not already. And so at the federal level, we need to make sure that we treat this drug accordingly. This is a very lethal drug. Hopefully what you've been seeing out of me as well is pushing this White House and this administration to secure our border. I've been to the border. I've seen firsthand the damaging effects that it has, not only on the folks coming across, a very inhumane atmosphere as they cross this border, especially in these summer months, but they're bringing with them, in many cases, some bad actors bringing thousands of pounds of this fentanyl, enough to kill every human being in the United States a couple of times over. So this is a federal problem. This is something that we've got to make sure that we're fighting at all levels, from the House to the White House. But there right now are kids, dying of this stuff. There's parents walking into their kids' bedrooms every morning, seeing their teenager dead, and they had no idea that what they were ingesting was actually a poisonous, very lethal drug called fentanyl. The last thing I'll end with is this is why we don't defund the police, okay? This is why we don't kowtow to this very far left progressive mindset that if we just take money out of the hands of law enforcement and place it other ways that we will avoid our problems. This is vastly impacting our local law enforcement agencies, the amount of the volume that they're getting now in helping folks recover from this. Is beyond a scale that they can keep up with right now, and the last thing they need is to be defunded. They need to be able to hire. They need to be able to go get the resources. We've been fighting at a federal level from my office to get these federal grants to the LA Sheriff's Department to help them get whole. But in the wake of this defund the police movement, in the wake of our kids being home and isolated during this COVID lockdown period, we're effectively in the worst case perfect storm for kids to be killed by this very dangerous poison. So we have to pay attention. Parents, please have those conversations with your kids. They're not easy conversations. If you have neighbors or grandkids, please do that. 21 people in Santa Clarita Valley have died from this poison just this calendar year. We would not tolerate that. If that was a madman with a weapon going around killing people, they'd be behind bars. We should be treating these drug dealers the same way when it comes to fentanyl, and we can't accept this any longer. By the way, that's 50% higher than most parts of LA County. Okay, so this is a very unique, a very difficult problem for us here in Santa Clarita Valley. So with that, I'll turn it over. But I appreciate you guys taking the time. I appreciate the media for covering this. For some, National Fentanyl Awareness Day is yesterday. But unfortunately, for literally hundreds of thousands of parents, that awareness came one morning when they walked in and saw their dead teenager. And we've got to stop this right now and prevent it from happening in the future. So thank you, sir.